It was the summer of 2009. I was fresh out of marriage that I jumped into too quickly, and I was here looking to find myself again. So, I called my two oldest siblings that lived in New York City and told them that I was coming for a visit. Needless to say, they were elated. I only had to pay for my bus ticket there. It was rather cheap, and I had a good job at the time, so I was able to purchase on a whim. Gleefully, I packed my suitcase so full I could barely zip it, with all of my favorite summer clothes, jewelry, makeup, etc. I get to the bus station and all is well. The lady at the customer service desk hands over my ticket and I wait for my bus departure to be announced. Along the way, on the bus ride, we make a few rest stops until we get to our transfer station in Philly. And this is where things get weird. Everyone transfers buses, gets off, a new group gets on. I see a lot of strange looking people, but none stood out like this guy. This guy had long straggly brown hair, thick glasses, and a wilderness beard. He isn't bad smelling or homeless looking, in fact he looks quite well put together, and he smells of cologne. But he just had this creepy serial killer lumberjack vibe about him. Whenever I travel, I always take the window seat, it's my thing, and lo and behold, creepy guy sits right next to me. He starts to talk. It's innocent enough, and I'm not much of a talker, so I listen. He talks about his sister's wedding, stating he had just attended it in Philly, telling me he was on his way back home to New York. I nodded and smiled. He then, in the creepiest whisper I've ever heard in my life, said, "I'm going to kiss you now." And before I could respond or react, he planted his lips onto mine as his scruffy beard scratched my face. I yelped in horror and punched him as hard as I could, in the arm. He let out a loud laugh and then said he loved me and he knew I was the one. I've never seen this man a day in my life and didn't know him from a can of paint. It's become very clear this guy was mentally disturbed. Just as I stood up to cross over him and go complain to the bus driver, a young woman appeared from behind, profusely apologizing, claiming he was her cousin and that he had a mental disability. She offered to trade seats with me, and I accepted. The whole time he's laughing and his laugh gets louder and more disturbing. That was the end of my interaction with them. But the next rest stop, I was getting off to get snacks. I walked past the seats and saw them making out, whispering and laughing. Like, what the fuck? They were very strange people. I don't know if they were really cousins or not, but I was glad to make it to New York City and see my big bro at the station waiting for me. I ran to his arms, clearly shaken. He asked me what was wrong, but I never told him exactly what happened. Nevertheless, he and my sister tried to comfort me, but I wouldn't spill it. I had been a frequent flyer ever since the incident occurred. Everything about it just gives me the creeps.